Survivor specialist Phil and Alexa are back with another one of our season 40 winner retrospectives. And today we have Peter Yurkowski, coming in here from Survivor Philippines to talk all about Denise Stapley. Pete, how's it going? And I'm loving this setup that you got going on here.
Thank you. It's very professional. I'm doing all right. I kind of hide behind the scenes. I don't really say much on Twitter. I don't really comment much on Survivor anymore. I just kind of, living my life, doing my thing. I don't really throw myself into the mix. I don't go to the parties. I just kind of chill.
Yeah, that's why this is so awesome. It's like, who's heard? When was the last time that Survivor fans have heard from Pete from Philippines?
Well, someone asked me to do a Reddit AMA like a long time ago.
How'd that go?
Good. They just ask the same questions that everyone usually asks in interviews. But you can be a little bit more cruel in Reddit AMA than you can verbally, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. And now
you want to say the words correctly, but you don't want to go overboard. Yeah.
Now we can all see your face. So if you say anything too bad, it's like that.
True. And when I'm lying too.
Yeah.
All the inflection now.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's cool. Yeah, exactly. Just ranting. You're having like somebody else type
15
it for
paragraphs to answer something easy.
Yeah, I love that though. Yeah, those AMAs, I feel like every one of them ends up reading the same. And I normally, what I do, being like having the ego I just control F specialists to see if our names come up at all in those AMAs. And if they don't, I'm like, well, I'm not going to read this one. So
I've only done that once.
Yeah,
Control F Pete in once, and I'm in a lot of people's wish lists for returning, but that's never going to happen.
Well, that's a compliment.
Yeah, that feels good. Feels good, But then some people right behind that goes, what? And then what do they say? I forget what they call me, but they're like, why would he ever come back? No, not him. And I'm like, whatever, brother. It's fine. You can hate me. It's cool.
You're from like the Forgotten Tribe from that season. So we're going to talk about,
the Tang Dang. Yeah.
The Tandang. Yeah. Because we had, first, whatever, Matt Singh just was terrible. So they kept losing, but then they had Malcolm and Denise, the winner and the most popular person from the season. And then Calabao had, Penner and Jeff Kent. So at least there was like something going on, but then your tribe just kept winning. And so it was almost like you were all punished for that, except for Abby Maria, who eats up all of the screen time.
It was really boring.
There we go.
Yeah,
I don't know what to tell you. There's nothing to freaking do. You win, then 3 days you return to win again, and then you 3 days to turn again, and it's so boring. And sometimes you got to you got to cut the fat at some point, right? And then you bring the fat into a merge situation where the people who know that, by how long was it? Like 2 weeks in, like the person who's at the bottom knows by that point that they're not everybody's best friend anymore. So going in without being able to snip those people out is not really good.
I was going to say, did you all hate each other by the time you hit the merge?
No, but it was dysfunctional.
Yeah,
you watched it.
Yeah,
it was. There were certain points where it was fun, but then it also rained the whole time, so we're all miserable sitting in a hut and like nobody's talking. There's no strategy talk because we never lose. So any strategy that you had, that all fell apart at a certain point. So
yeah. Well, and so RC is the first person voted out of your tribe. Like once you hit the merge, did she know that she was always in that position? Because that's kind of what you just implied, but I don't feel like RC knew that.
No, it wasn't. That's something I feel like you just leave up in the air and you don't talk about till you have to have that conversation on who's next, because then that gets whispered around camp, and then you're the guy that brought up the name, and then it's this whole mess that you just don't want to have to clean up. So why even create a mess in the first place?
Absolutely. Well, there you go.
You give like a network of 3 names that are possible. So then, that backfires too. But hey,
and then it's half the drive.
I was stupid back then.
Yeah, and then what was it? 8th? Was it 8th place? Is that what ended up happening?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
But that was my season, man. I should have won it.
That's right.
Not gonna lie.
It started picking up as you hit like the merge. All of a sudden, we started to see your tribe, and you were the one who actually
cocky. Let's just put it out here. It got cocky. Everything seemed so easy, and then I don't know. It just all devolved, and I don't know. I wish I could go back and change 100,000 things. Like there was a deal where Penner came out to us, and it was like with me and Abby, and it was like, let's just make a new thing. That just should have said yes. I don't know why I said no. Cocky. That's
poor Penner got rejected like so many times that season.
I know, but the guy who keeps getting rejected, why don't you bring him in? He obviously is desperate at that point. So
yeah, that's Penner's whole entire life on Survivor. He gets rejected by everything. He got rejected by his body, like everything. It didn't matter. Yep. Every time Penner went out there, somebody was just like, "No, not you, man."
Exactly. Yeah,
it's brutal.
Poor
it's
guy.
Brutal. But then we have Denise, who was another one. Didn't he like just like straight up tell Denise like, "No, I'm not going to work with you," and then Denise was just like, "Well, I'm going to vote you out." the week that Penner went home.
Very sad.
It's very sad. It's really crazy. And that's who's going to be playing on all winners here. But it's fun to talk about the rest of this cast, because other than Malcolm and Denise, I feel like a lot of you have kind of, well, and Abby, obviously, but I feel like a lot of you have kind of taken a back seat in the Survivor community. So even just like talking about that right there, it's like a name I just wrote on this piece of paper that I have not thought about in years was Artis. And
gosh.
I haven't heard from him in like a year, I think.
Yeah. It's interesting to start looking at all that.
You guys keep in touch? Ish.
No. I saw him. I talked to him like a year ago. It's hard to keep in touch with people because like the only thing that you ever had in common was that one thing. And it's so far, like, it's like when you graduate from high school, you talk to your high school friends for a while and then like the year after and the year after, but then eventually communication breaks and it's a whole communication breakdown. And
relive the same stories over and over
again.
again.
And it's the same thing. And like, what are you going to talk about? You both living your lives. Like, yeah, maybe once in a while you'll catch up. Probably after this, I'll probably text Artis and say, how you doing? Hope you have a good holiday and all that stuff. But it's nice to do these things every once in a while because you get to go visit memory lane, get to say, hey, wow, I was an idiot. I made a lot of mistakes. Thank you guys. And then, I don't know.
That's the main reason we wanted to do this whole series, was not to praise the winners, but so that the person talking about the winner could just dwell on everything they did wrong. That's why we're doing this.
Well, that's one of the worst things. Like the first 2 years you finish. I can't even imagine what Malcolm has to do, right? Because Malcolm played back to back. But it's, you just sit there and you just wonder, like, what could I have done differently? But it takes a while to realize. It's very obvious that you can't do anything. It's already done. But you wish you could go back because it's usually one or two small things that you just fumble and that just train wrecks everything else.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's so obvious looking back on it.
Yeah, you watch it and
because you're like, it's so obvious. And it's like, how did I miss that?
I'm also
hungry and starving, but who knows?
That's how you miss it. Exactly. And I think that's the thing that goes undervalued, especially in all these newer seasons of Survivor, is that like we hear so much of like people just slipping up and saying like the wrong thing. And I'm like, everybody's starving right now. Like nobody is comfortable.
You don't really think straight. Like you think like it, like certain things just don't make sense. Or like when Malcolm came to me and was like, tells me I don't have an idol. Like looking back, he was so uncomfortable when he told me that. Even like when I got like after that conversation it happened, it was like something doesn't feel right about it, but I'm gonna ignore it. You know, like normally, if you're coherent, you'd be like, oh, okay, so let's just keep him in that question mark box for a while, then just write him off as he's fine. Let him go, you know? So,
yeah. Now, how do you feel? Would you rather go out the way you went out that time in your first season where Abby plays the idol and like then you go home? Or would you rather go out the way Malcolm did in his third try where he just like was at that crazy double tribal council where an idol was played and there was literally nothing he could do? You remember that?
Yeah,
you'd rather go out like that, right?
Yeah, you want to go down swinging where you have no choice and you just get your ass kicked. But oh, am I allowed to say that?
Yeah, you can say whatever you want. Trust me. Oh my God, we did one of these with Fair Play, and we have to put like a giant
X-rated
at the beginning of it. Yeah.
We have to put more than a disclaimer. I'm pretty sure YouTube's going to shut our channel down after that one. But maybe that was his plan all along.
Just the video is going to be unmonetized. It's fine, guys.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And honestly, we'll just get Fair Play to pay us, right? Like that's how it should be.
That easy.
I also love this right now, Pete. I'm looking up your cast because I can't help myself.
Yeah,
I forgot you were from Homedale, and that just blows my mind because I'm from just south of Toms River, so that's a side thing. But
I used to always go to Toms River because that's where my grandparents used to live.
Yeah, that's where my grandparents live.
Yeah, like in those old people communities.
Yeah, exactly, right there, Holiday City. I think Holiday City. That's it. Yeah. All right. Well, that's a quick side note. That's memory lane right there for everybody. But all right, so you played for. What is it? You played about 7. You played a couple days with Denise. What'd you play? About 8 days with Denise where you're actually in the game and on the same tribe as her when it was merged, something like that. So give us something about Denise here, because you met her kind of midway through the game after she had already been through the hell that was Matt Singh and then Calabao, because Denise never won. But
Matt Singh, worst tribe ever made.
Ever.
Rest in peace, Matt Singh. Never again.
It's crazy. But they're the people who keep returning. It's just Malcolm and Denise. Denise. It's crazy. So what are you thinking? What are you thinking for Denise's chances here on this season coming up? What are her strengths? What's some weaknesses? Let's hear it.
I don't know. She's got the huge problem of a lot of these people have known each other for years, right? Like they all meet each other. They go to the stuff. Denise is kind of off the grid, not really part of it. Kind of like in like in our season also, right? She's not a part of the huge group, but maybe she can weasel her way into it just like she did on the season. I don't know. We're going to have to see. But I feel like she's a huge underdog going into this. So, but maybe that's a good thing because everyone will ignore her. And she's very small, so she's hard to see. So we'll see.
That was it. But she's strong.
Yeah, she's very strong. I don't know how it happens, but she's very strong and very tiny and very fit.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Maybe she's unfit now. We don't know. We haven't seen Denise.
We have no idea.
And I'm not Instagram stalking Denise, so I don't know. Someone knows.
We'll stalk her. We'll let you know. But it's kind of weird that she's coming in as an underdog because I think she's a super popular winner and she won as the underdog. So it's funny that she's just kind of reprising that role.
Yeah, but she's not like a part of that whole. They call
like
it
that whole
family, right? But there's this whole thing that like whenever like the season, like a season, the finale's coming, they all go out to the bars, they all talk to each other, they hang out. So they know each other outside of the game more than anybody that knows Denise is in the game. So the question is, are they going to like that or are they going to consider that threatening? Or like, would they want to stay with their friends because they know what to expect? Or do you want to take the wild card that you don't really know much about other than what you've seen on TV?
Yeah. And I think that even since Denise played the first time and since you played the first time, like it's so different now where like, I will tell Alexa all the time because I live out in LA right now. Every time I end up going to a bar, like you meet a survivor and there's also the same 9 survivors that are also in that same room. And that wasn't the case back during season 25 and 26 and 27. I think that's become more of the case during season 30.
It just wasn't 10. It was like 5.
Yeah. And now it just keeps on. Yeah. Expanding
cast kind of a lot of those guys.
Yeah. And so I think that there's a lot of people. I mean, when you look at some of the people on this cast, we know Boston Rob, Tyson, they all play poker together. Adam's part of that crew. And when you look at Denise, what does she have in common with anybody? It's the fact that she's from Iowa, just like Sarah Lucina. Like that's essentially
or that they played Survivor once in their lifetime, you know? So it's going to be really interesting to see how she kind of fits in that hodgepodge of like ex-winners.
Yeah. And how do you think? Like where does she go? Who does she turn to?
I think, do you want my personal opinion? She's up Schitt's Creek without a freaking paddle, man. I don't know what the hell's going to happen.
Hey,
she's walking into literally the dragon's lair, and she has to pray that she doesn't get fried before the merge. If she makes the merge, then I think she has a pretty good opportunity to go farther. But if she doesn't get there, I think it's game over.
That's actually super refreshing to hear because everyone we've talked to has said that like their person is going to win. So
I'm gonna give you blunt honesty. The chance of her making it far, I don't know. I really think when people are comfortable with what they know, they would rather stick with that than deal with the thing that is kind of foreign to them. Right. And because she's foreign, they have a lot more questions. Like if obviously you said like you've watched people who play poker together, so they know people's poker faces. They kind of know when to call the bluff. Now, Denise, wild card from Iowa.
Yeah.
You know?
From Iowa.
Yeah.
That's
so her tribe, let me look at her tribe real quick. So she's
I hope she wins. That would be great. But
so she's with Danny Boatwright, Michelle Fitzgerald, Natalie Anderson, Parvati, Boston Rob, Jeremy Collins, Ethan, Ben, and Adam. Anybody jump out to you out of that group?
I think Parvati is going to want to take her out pretty quickly. I mean, you know, she's another strong woman that's able to kind of, she's like, they're both kind of backdoor players. You don't really see what's going on in the foreground. So I feel like I really don't know who Denise is going to turn to. I think it's like Kip said before, I think it's a huge problem for Denise. The fact that she doesn't know these people, or maybe she does, and we just don't know that they've met before. Or she goes to certain, maybe there's a secret Survivor winners party that we don't get invited to, you know? Every single year.
We wouldn't know.
Yeah, right. We don't win. But I just don't see it. I'm trying to think of like who she could go to. Maybe Boston. Maybe she makes good friends with Boston Rob. I don't know. But
I mean, do you think that you think she goes for like an Adam? Who might, I mean, as weird as this sounds, but like she did pair up with one of the youngest people on her season. Is there any chance that she tries to do the same thing?
Does it work twice? I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't know. Because everyone's going to look and be like, oh my God, that's her Malcolm.
Her and Malcolm, because like you have to think about the Malcolm thing, right? That only happened because they were both desperate on a tribe full of crazy people.
Yeah.
You had one girl praying to like speaking in tongues, like, what, girl, it's not going to freaking help you. And then you had Russell screaming to God on why he's losing. I mean, you had crazy people on your tribe, and you had cookies.
You didn't even mention Zane.
Yeah, cookies. Well, Zane do we have to? He was out in the first episode. But yeah, and he had a genius strategy that he was gonna pretend he wanted to get voted out. I mean, like they were the only two people on that tribe that made sense to be together. And they were kind of forced together, which was good because they were both intelligent, rational players that knew how to play the game.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you start Malcolm and Denise on two separate tribes and then you swap them, there's not a huge chance that they end up like aligning.
I don't think so.
It's kind of more out of necessity rather than
desperation. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because they knew coming into our tribes, they didn't have anybody, right? They were coming into a place where they had no friends.
Yeah.
Well, maybe she could bond with kind of all the other, like maybe she's close with Danny because I feel like we haven't seen Danny around a lot. Maybe Kim, though I think Kim, so like Sophie, I think Kim might be in that whole poker crew.
Maybe. I don't know. I just think she's up Schitt's Creek.
I
don't think so. I just don't.
I love Denise and I loved her game. And I think she's a really underrated winner because like people don't talk about her in the same respect that they talk about Kim, though I think Denise won a tougher cast than Kim did. Like I think she went up against better players for the most part, and having the returning players there, we always know how that just makes things a little bit trickier. So I don't think people talk about Denise that way, but it is refreshing to hear this because I'm telling you, Pete, if you listen to the other ones of these that we've recorded,
everybody's like, mine's gonna win. Bring out wave the flag. She's bringing it home, boys.
That's it. Except for Johnny Fairplay, everybody else has just been like, my player is at least making the merge or something along those lines. I mean, Alexa, I'm honestly like, I'm looking at this right now and I just think it's so funny that he's like, no. And everybody else is at least saying like family visit. That's the worst place.
So what we've been doing is kind of for each of these interviews, we've been asking each person, how do you think your winner is going to place? And then who do you think would win if you couldn't pick like Denise, for example? And actually a couple people have picked Denise. She's been actually only one person's picked her so far.
If she plays her cards right and they don't consider her like too foreign to play with, then I think she has a really good shot. And I think we're going to know that the first episode. I think the first episode, we'll see how she integrates into her tribe and see what conversations she can have. But I think that first episode, those first few days on the beach, those first 3 days are the most crucial part of the game for Denise. Because if that goes well and she can somehow get herself into something that's safe, then I think she has a chance to make it at least to the merge. But if she can't secure that in the first 3 days, I think it's game over.
How do you think
she's going to be something they're going to wait to cut? She's not going to be someone. She's not a first vote out. She's not a second vote out. She's someone that you hold on the side and you just wait to chop off this like the head of the snake.
Yeah.
Because why would you get rid of Denise when you could get rid of like Parvati,
right?
For example.
And like she's one of those people that has a lot of conversations with people behind the scenes, like I said. So she's going to try, but she's very quiet and she's reserved. She's also a therapist, so she can read people. These are very dangerous attributes for a person. She has to read people all day. Now she's a sex therapist, so maybe it's a bit different. I don't know, but
it's some good stories.
You still have to be able to read people. So I feel like that's a very dangerous attribute to have. And now that everybody knows you're a therapist and you've won the game before, I don't know. I don't see it.
Yeah, and when I look at the people who are on her tribe, I could see her trying to maybe bond with Ethan because I think they're around the same age. It's weird because people have played so far apart now, but I think her and Ethan are around the same age. Her and Boston Rob are around the same age. Her and Danny aren't far apart.
Ethan's 45.
Ethan's 45?
Yeah.
Yeah, so and I think Denise is 48. So they're all close in age. So maybe she can pull like a little bit of an older thing. But that wasn't who she
it looks like
with.
Most of her tribe is like around 42 to 46. Like that's kind of the mean.
Yeah, it's really like
Michelle and Adam are the two.
What the hell is going on, guys? What the hell? I didn't realize that. Because all of these people have grown up, huh? Damn.
Isn't that crazy? They don't just stay the same age. It's terrible.
Won, like 19 years ago.
Yeah, that's really weird. That's bizarre. Now that I didn't really look at this, I knew like kind of the cast, but I didn't look at the average age. There's nobody really below 30. There's a couple.
There's just four. It's Nick, Sophie, Adam, and Michelle. That's it.
Nick is 28.
Yeah.
Okay, Nick.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, so many people say like, "Oh, Forever Cast are too young," but this one is most certainly not.
Yeah, this one hits home, right?
Yeah.
No zoomers in this one. No zoomers allowed.
None of that.
Yeah.
Nope.
So Who do you think that she never in the world has a chance to work with on this season?
Like, who did she not want to work with?
Who does she not want to, or who? Wait, say that again. Sorry.
Go ahead, Phil.
I was just gonna I think who does she not want to? But you had mentioned Parvati might want her out. Who do you think she would never have a chance to work with?
I don't think she would ever work with Sandra, ever. And I don't think Sandra would ever work with her. I think their personalities would clash, and Denise has that very okay kind of face when she does things. Like she doesn't really say it, but you can see it sometimes. I think her and Sandra would never ever get along, as far as as maybe outside of the game, obviously, but not. I think something in a situation like this. No, I think not a chance. Zero.
Didn't Denise get in trouble for that on her season? Not in trouble, but didn't somebody bring that up to her? It was like, you just kind of nod your head and smile at us a lot. Like, didn't somebody say something like that?
I know. It's very passive aggressive. Sometimes you don't really read into because you're like, I'm too tired to care about this shit. But but she does that smile thing. I can kind of tell what you're saying, but why? Just say it, please. I don't want to have to infer what you mean here.
Well, it might be the therapist thing, just kind of the smiling and nodding.
Yeah, where they're like, wow, what a freaking idiot.
He's probably just just keep telling me that. Whatever.
Good job, guys. Good job.
Yeah. Oh God.
Now her and Sandra, not a chance.
Now I'm cringing.
Boston Rob, I don't think either.
Yeah.
No.
I don't think Boston Rob's going to get along with anybody on this season.
I think that's just going to be an early boot.
Yeah.
I think he's gone very, very quickly. I think this is just the fun. This is like the fun run for him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like, this is my 6th lap.
It's like, whatever, dude. Just put me in there. We'll see what happens.
Give me a couple extra bucks.
Going in, he's got a target on his back. He probably already secured a deal with CBS where they're paying him no matter what.
Yeah.
Because he's not going in there getting to vote out 3rd. He's going to leave his kids and his family. It's like, no.
Well, he's bringing Amber.
He's bringing his wife.
True. So he's leaving his kiddos.
Yeah. Who's taking care of the kids?
I don't know. But I'm telling you, he's definitely secured some deal with CBS.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that's why 39 played out the way 39 did. I think it had something to do with 40, or retrospectively, it ended up. I mean, this is all hearsay, but I just feel like they probably did 39 and then they decided, hey, for 40, we should do all winners. How can we get Sandra and Boston Rob to do it again? And there's probably something that goes on where it's like, hey, guys.
Money.
Yeah. And I mean, the prize this year is $2 million, not $1 million. So
at a certain point, it's like, what do you have to prove? And if you're getting, it's $2 million this time?
Yeah. $2 million.
Instead of 1. Yeah.
That's
so every prize
they're bringing it back to
$2
million, huh? Nice.
Yeah. You going to play again now, Pete?
Yeah. Hell yeah. Any money to play with. Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah, $2 million. That's not bad.
No, it's not. And to have fun and play a game. I mean, come on.
But I thought it wasn't. I thought you said. You just said Tandang was no fun. So now,
no, hold on. That's a whole no. That's just that we should have just lost on purpose once. I mean, it was just stupid. They don't like when you lose on purpose. Jeff gets mad. So, you just have to cut the fat before.
Who would you have cut had you had that opportunity?
Scoopin. He was really annoying, but
and instead he goes on to get 3rd.
What?
Instead he goes on to get 3rd. Like, dang,
it's not what I thought you said.
No, I didn't say. I said nothing else.
We'll save that for later.
Won't go there. Yeah, we won't go there.
My God. Well, yeah. I almost made a bad joke. All right, I'm done. We're moving on.
Do it. It's fine. It is what it is.
Pete. Yeah. Alexa asked the question before, but Alexa, ask it again, and let's get an official placement on Denise.
All right, so let's get an official placement. So, where do you think, as of right now, Denise is going to place? Give us an actual number, or you could be generic. You can say pre-merge.
Pre-merge.
Definitely pre-merge. All right.
Yeah. No, family visit. Apparently that's the popular answer, right?
Yeah. So, family visit.
Denise, I'm sorry, but you're going out probably pre-merge unless you secure something in those first 3 days. But now that I've known kind of that they're mostly her age, maybe, but I still think she's too much of an outlier that they're going to be like, who is this person? I mean, we have seen her on TV, but we've never really met her. So
yeah.
Bye-bye.
Well, and we don't do this. We haven't done this for anybody, but because you're being down on Denise, I want to do this real quick because I think this is so much fun. Here's what we got
Denise,
right now.
Don't hate me, please.
Yeah, right. We have 6th place, final 3, winner, final 3, final 6, merge, final 6, final 3, or winner, merge, 8th place, final 6 or 7.
Who are you interviewing? Jesus.
Family visit.
Who are these people? You people played Survivor. Be honest. Come on. Maybe some of them are right, though.
Who knows?
Well, nobody. Well, somebody has to be right.
Somebody's right. Yeah.
Someone's got to be right.
We have 20 people finishing 6th.
Also, pretty much. So the next question we ask is, if you can't pick Denise to win, which it sounds like you wouldn't do anyway, out of this group, who would you pick to win? And they're like buying away.
Sophie's a good choice, I think.
Ooh, you will.
I don't know.
I just second Sophie. You'd be the second.
Okay. Or I feel like Yule somehow is going to make it the top 3. I don't know why, but I don't think he's going to win.
Yule's good.
Yule's going to make it top 3, but I don't think he'll win.
So you're going Sophie.
Yeah, I think Sophie.
All right, good choice.
So what's your take here on? What's your take on Sophie? Because I feel like she falls into a similar category to Denise, where it's like not many people know much about her.
Yeah, but she's I disagree. She used to hang out in that little circle a lot.
She's in New York, right? I feel like she's
New York group. She's definitely a part of the crew because I've seen her out before with a lot of them. Like when Cochran invited us out one time when we were there. It was me, Malcolm, and I think Abby were in New York. And Cochran invited us out, and it was that whole crew, and Sophie was there. So I feel like she is a part of that crew in some capacity.
She just doesn't post about it on social media. Yeah. How would I know?
People don't post their whole life on social. Yeah,
it's almost like you're not
mention that. Maybe that's a part of the. Maybe that's a part of the strategy. Who knows? She's the audience underdog,
right? I still don't believe that.
How do you guys feel about Sophie?
I think she's in trouble.
Really? Why?
I just think maybe I'm wrong because what you just told me, I did not know, but I just feel like she's kind of an outsider. And I also feel like one advantage Sophie has is that she played with returning players. So she played with coach and was aligned with coach and was able to outsmart coach the entire way. So she knows how to do that. Mm-hmm. But I just feel like sometimes she can come off a little too like serious and maybe a little bit too, at least from what we saw on TV, like she can just almost be.
She's a very dry sense of humor.
That's good. That works.
I like, but I feel like maybe doesn't come across to some people. Is that what you're trying to say?
Something like that. Like she doesn't have like that warm, cuddly side to her. It doesn't seem like, and I think that can hurt her on a season like this. We're going to have people who are like, we're part of the Survivor winner family. Let's all have like the greatest time. And even though they're going to be cutting each other's throats, even somebody like Sandra can still lean into, I'm Sandra, aren't I so great to be around? And I just worry that Sophie's not going to be able to do enough of that because I think she has a hard time faking it. And she faked her way through 23, but in a different way than I feel she might have to fake it on this season.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like she just has the dynamic kind of personality to pull it off. Mm-hmm. And I disagree with you on the dry sarcasm. I feel like that helps you more than it hurts you, I think. Mm-hmm. Unless you're doing the Denise and doing nothing wrong here.
It's fine. Whatever.
Yeah. I don't know. So who would you be your top pick then? Who would be your top pick? Like you going for like a Jeremy? Like what are you looking at?
I keep saying Michelle.
Okay. Yeah. Why? That's a bizarre choice.
I think she's like Sophie, where she's quieter, more under the radar, but I think she's got the better social game than Sophie's going to have.
I agree with you there.
Yeah. And so I think that's why Michelle can go really far.
Pairing though, if they ever.
That would be awesome. I'd be all about that.
I'm feeling pretty good about Wendell. I think Wendell could do really well.
Okay.
Though I think that I don't know, like if the being like one of the newer winners is a good thing or a bad thing, because it's pretty down the middle in terms of like half quote unquote old school versus half new school. So I can't really tell like which is going to have the advantage.
I don't know either. I feel like we're going to know within those first few episodes though how this entire thing is going to play out. That's usually kind of on these kind of seasons. I feel like you kind of then get the tempo of what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. Like, are they looking to play now or are they looking to kind of ease into the game? Right. I'm kind of curious. Yeah. I'm kind of curious if they're going to hit the beach running or they're just going to see what happens.
Like, did Tony learn from Game Changers to not be an idiot because he would have done well? Like now watching the edit back, knowing that had he not been so psycho, he probably makes it to a swap and all of a sudden Tony can run things. Does he just take it a little bit easier off the bat? And I mean, who do you think would be somebody who would try to take control right away?
I mean, obviously Tony. You named him and he's going to hit that's just his personality, strong personality, wants to be in charge. Can he not do that? I don't know. Mm-hmm. I mean, he should have the mental capacity to be like, you know what, let people come to me. But
I mean, he was smart. I mean, the way he won, he was a genius, but I don't know. Crazily enough, I don't know if he can turn it
But does it work twice? Right. Yeah. You can't do the same thing twice. You can't. It's just like, I feel like it's just like an MMA fight. Can you fight the same fight twice? I don't think you can. You have to change something different. It's different opponents. People kind of know what you have in your arsenal. You have to play differently. And he learned last time, like, if you don't do that, see you later, pal.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And I think that's another advantage that some people have over Denise and Michelle and Sophie is they've played twice or three times and they know how to lose as well. So they kind of know what they do wrong and what they do well. Whereas Sophie, Denise, they might not know that yet because they actually haven't done much wrong. And even if you all, I know Denise had a hard time at her final tribal, but you all still voted for her to win. So
it was the better of the three options.
Honestly,
you can't. You always have what you want. You have to pick what you can get. You
don't regret not voting for Scoopin'? Seriously?
No, I don't regret that at all. I can't believe he thought he was going to win. That is the most asinine thing I've ever heard. There was no indication of him ever winning. If one person voted for him, no, two, right? No,
it was one. It was just
Carter. And we all made fun of Carter at the end. Carter was like, "I thought we were all voting for fucking Scoopin'." Like, no,
that's what we agreed on.
I don't know what we were talking. I was like, I don't think we ever had this conversation, Carter. I wonder how Carter's doing. I haven't heard from him in a while either. And
he's jacked. That's what I know about him. If you go on his Instagram, that man has a lot of muscles now.
Yup.
Yeah. Pete, you would have been the second most muscular man on your
If
season.
he goes back, he's got to cut that out because, he's going to have no food and he's just going to fall apart wither away. Yeah, and just collapse.
If Carter ends up playing again before you or RC or Jeff Kent or...
I want to see Carter.
Angie.
Carter's got a lot of one-liners.
Before Angie.
Angie. I don't think
Damn.
I wonder if Angie would go back. I don't know.
I want her back so bad.
All right. Later. Roommate's going to the airport. Later, bud.
Oh, that's...
Hi. I'm back.
Well, sorry to ruin your goodbye with your roommate. Apologies.
He's going home for holidays.
Oh, yeah.
I leave Thursday.
That's when I'm leaving as well.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So does that mean you're no longer in New Jersey? Is that what you're saying?
I am not. I'm in LA.
Oh hello. Yeah. I'm in LA as well.
I'm so close to all of those Survivor events, but I never go.
What could be?
That's so
I get invited, but I never go.
Wow. Wow, that's crazy because I would have thought you were still on the East Coast. You're killing it right now, man.
No, I don't know, man. They always talk about the same things. It's the same conversation, and you have to be careful because these are the people you might play with again, and they always want to talk strategy. It's like one of those things. Can we just turn it off and have a good time?
Let's just be
possible.
Friends.
Is that possible? But it's always like this mental game when you go, and it just gets exhausting, and it's just boring.
It sounds stressful, and not what I would want.
Because these people aren't really. You want to be friends with these people, right? You want to be friends with them. You want to get a drink. You want to have a good time. But the problem is that they just don't want to do that. And it's like they're all like, yeah, let's have fun. And then it's like, by the way, if we ever go back.
It's like Lost.
It's like, yeah, but then they have the conversation with everybody at the party because at a certain point, everybody gets drunk and you're just watching this person go to each person. It's like, it's kind of like doing a Zane, but I don't know.
It's interesting to have never played and go to some of those events and just be like, not the person that everybody wants to talk to in that way. So I just kind of get to hear what everybody thinks about each other, which, I won't repeat on the podcast, but I get to hear all that
of shit too. So it's like the dysfunctional Survivor family. So I decided to, be the little orphan and go my own separate way.
I will, every time I go to one of these now though, Pete, I will save a chair for you and I'll just put a beer in front of it. So
I'll
just in case you show up.
You bait me with beer, I'll be there.
Just in case. So you have a good feel. You have a good feeling that Denise is not doing well. You got a good feeling about Sophie. Yeah. Any other hot takes you got here? Because like you said, people don't hear from you. Yeah.
I think he could get in a lot. He's either going to do really well or really bad. I don't think there's a middle ground for Tyson. Mm-hmm. It's either, you're out really quickly because we don't want to listen to you, or he's out. He makes it pretty far. I don't think he wins, but I think he's going to do if I had to guess,
he would do
pretty well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He feels like somebody who can overcome the target on his back at the beginning pretty well, just by his personality alone. I feel like there's a reason Tyson is, even when he gets voted out, he was in the majority alliance in both seasons. He got voted out, and it was because people like him. You want to hang out with Tyson at the end of the day.
Person, of course.
So I think he could do really well. What any other takes?
Any final takes? Any last
throw at us here?
Let's look down the list of people.
I love this.
It's
like when Gordon Holmes makes you do the word association.
Yeah. Kim, I don't know how Kim's gonna do. I want to say well, but she kind of had an easy season.
Yeah, and she's also coming
to walk through the park. Everybody else, everyone else, a little bit nuts on that season. We had a lot of crazy people, but how she's gonna do this one, I don't know. We'll see. We have Denise, Tony. We were talking about him. Natalie. Early vote. I don't think Bake's very far. Let's see. How do you guys?
I don't know with Natalie. She can go either way because she could be somebody who tries to play really aggressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think she's going to, here's what I think her strategy is going to be. She's going to try to take a back seat, that something's going to go horribly wrong, and then she's gone. I think she's going to get caught doing something.
Yeah. She's a pretty, I mean, from the one time we saw her, she was a pretty, like, she likes to be the leader. So I feel like it's going to be scary on this kind of season.
Yeah. But it's like one of those things where there's so many leaders in this season, right?
Right.
So somebody has to be the leader. But how do you figure that out if you all don't want to be the leader? You know?
Yeah.
That's one of the weird parts about this season, I think, is that everybody was some sort of a leader, or some people just kind of happily fell into, winning. But it's just a bunch. It's like a battle of like the alpha minds, I think, because a lot of these people are alpha characters. So I'd like to see who actually kind of takes the reins, because it's one that's a scary person to be in a season like this with all attorneys and all winners. I don't know.
Yeah, because even the people who don't scream alpha, you have to be some sort of alpha personality type to win the season.
Yeah.
Like you have to be able to sell yourself to a bunch of people who you've betrayed. So I think that takes a little bit. And while Michelle and Sophie might not scream like alpha right away because they didn't really control their game, still think they're there. Like that's a personality trait they have.
Yeah. Right. Would you guys want to play on this season? I mean, let's just pretend that the $1 million before this didn't exist. There was no money. Would you want to play on a season?
I honestly do not.
I wouldn't want to be on this season.
I'm like a huge Survivor fan. I don't think I am like game smart enough to play at this level. Like this is just going to be. I know people complained about Second Chance being all strategy. This is going to be straight up strategy the entire time.
Yep. And it's going to be a lot of flips and a lot of flops and a lot of blind sides. And
no alliances.
And what's unfortunate
is they last one vote and it's gone.
What's unfortunate is a lot of people are going to come out of this, I feel like, looking like JT, where no matter what you do, the entire community is going to be like, well, see, I told you they sucked the whole time. Like, I feel like that's going to happen. It's going to be really hard to come out of this with people thinking more positively about you than negatively about you. And I think the only two winners that have really done it, where they went and played once, and then the second time that they played, they looked better, was Sandra. And who's the other one? I can't. Why am I drawing a blank?
Tyson?
But Sandra. Well, Tyson didn't win the second time.
Yeah, I get. Second.
I'm saying like after you had won, who went out there and like performed to a point? I think it would be. It's Sandra and I think Parvati. I think those are the two that we look at and we're like, damn, how did they do that the second time around?
Yeah,
or the third time for Parvati, but still, how did you pull that off? It's going to be hard to have a positive, take after your season. I mean, if Adam Klein goes out first, everybody who hates Adam Klein is going to be like, told you he was shitty and like he only won because of it. And it's like, oh my God, like the poor guy. What are you supposed to
19
do?
19 people.
But you have to play.
Yeah, somebody's going to come out looking, because like you're going to try and make your move, but 9 of them are going to, I mean, there's so many of them are going to backfire, right? Not everybody can win here. So I want to know if they're going to edit this one differently, because what they like to do is, they kind of make some people invisible, I guess, because they're just trying to tell the main storyline of how that person wins. I'm curious if they're going to take a backseat to that and kind of tell the full story here. Because these are all winners. These are people that I think they value, right?
Yeah. I would hope that they do that.
Curious if they're going to do that.
Yeah. You would hope that nobody gets the invisible edit on this. Because like if I waited all this time to watch Ethan play again, and then like, Ethan,
where's Ethan?
He makes final 8 and gets like 4 confessionals on the season. I'm gonna be pissed.
I'm kind of curious though if they're gonna do that. Like I really wish they would have 2 hours per episode on this one. That would
I think they're trying, or at least an hour and a half. I think they're trying.
An hour is just not gonna cut it. No. Not on something where the people want to see all of these ex-players come and battle it out.
On the premiere is 2 hours, so at least we have that.
Be an hour, If it was just an hour an episode, I think that's a disservice to a season like this.
Yeah, I completely agree. Completely agree. Get the epicness out of the way, because
you need the time. You're
never going to do this again. I mean, this is the one time this is going to happen, probably in TV history. So, do it.
Yeah, they can't do this for season 80.
No,
we'll all be dead. Like we can't. Do that. Like, I mean, God, it's too far away. I can't handle this. Well, anyway, I mean, Alexa, do we have any other questions that we have to ask, or we can just keep throwing it back to Pete? I mean, I don't mind these hot takes that you got here, Pete.
I can just create a bunch. I can talk forever.
No, I'm just liking that you're not picking Denise to win, and I like love Denise, but I love that you're like being honest about it.
Yeah, no, I love Denise too. I love her too, but I just don't see it. I just don't. I think she's in a place. She's getting invited to a party where she doesn't know anyone, and that person has two options. You either run in there and you make a lot of friends, or you are in the corner drinking that beer by yourself, and then you leave when the party's over. Now, maybe they'll just forget she's there. I don't know. But we'll see. I just don't think. Who knows? She's gonna have to have a different game plan than last time, though.
Well, Denise fans, I hope you got through this one with a smile on your face, because if you're Denise fanning, I don't know. I mean, Pete brought positive energy, just not to Denise.
I love it.
I know. Hey,
sorry, Denise.
We need these takes. We need it. We need it. But
honesty, you know.
Yeah. Well, do you have anything else you want to throw, or should we wrap it up?
That's all I got, unless you guys have anything.
No, I think we'll wrap. Alexa, take it away as everybody plays their violin for Denise.
Thanks for coming on, Pete. This was great. I really hope Denise listens to this and
changes their game.
Tweet get an email
accounts.
Yes, to be like, we're not paying anybody. Probably broken 15
you're about to get
NDAs. Who knows?
But make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And again, Pete, thanks for coming on. It's been a lot of fun, and hope you all enjoy.
Yeah. See y'all for the next one.